Ultrakill is one of the few times where I'm left thinking this is the furthest a genre can go, that the limits have been redefined, where speed and aggression go hand in hand in making for the most satisfying gameplay. We play as V1, a machine that operates on blood, but with mankind dead, our only option is to descend into hell rich in fuel. Not only is the premise cool, but the world building is beyond what could be imagined from it, with a depth I never would have suspected. I can't think of a single aspect that I dislike. This game is amazing. Ultrakill has a staggering degree of mechanics, keeping the experience on a constant course of discovery. Stuff you may happen upon mid-combat that'll make you wonder how you could play without them, like jumping right after a ground slam for extra air, or crouch jumping for speed and distance to give a dramatic shift to the flow of combat. Adapt to the time of projectiles to reflect them back, or better yet, create your own window by punching shotgun shells. Oh man, it's one of the few things that the game does inform you of, but it feels understated relative to how eye-opening it is. It became second nature, to the extent of becoming my dominant attack. Follow it up with an arm swap for an explosive blast up close, it makes it hard to change up the rhythm. But there isn't a single wasted slot in our arsenal of 5, with uses that make them feel more complete than games with double their number. Most importantly, they complement each other to shed health and give joy to chaos. Sometimes, the sound won't even cut out if it leans too much into it, reinforcing the violence, the devastation of it all. I love it. Every action inflicted on the enemy accrues points towards style, the max being Ultrakill. It's not easy to hit or maintain, especially if you default to an attack like me, but it gives all the more adrenaline when you do. The area most likely to get it in is in the cyber grind, the endless mode of the game. It's the coolest implementation of one I've seen in an FPS, taking place in a grid of an arena that alters its form with each wave, back to back with little pause, and to music that has the perfect feel to make you play at your utmost. In fact, this is true of nearly every song in Ultrakill. The cyber grind alone is reason to recommend the game. It's that fun. If the impression so far is that I find Ultrakill without dislike, it's true. Before entry into hell can be made, there is a Prelude section in a mining site that serves as a gateway. It'll get players used to the game's pace, along with being graded after each level. I want to assure those looking to play the game straight through, from start to finish, that the experience is rewarding in itself. However, Ultrakill really comes into its own if you do pursue higher ranks, and take time into looking for its secrets, such as the door that only opens with the P rank in all of Prelude and Act 1, Infinite Hyperdeath. Man, what a badass name, perfect for a thrash or death metal song. With the boss slain, the first layer of hell is entered, and immediate is that this depiction isn't what comes to mind. But there is meaning to form, a depth inspired by Dante's Inferno. Developer Hakita wanted to make his own version of hell, one influenced but not bound to the poem, and it works. Not only in diversifying the world, but making it memorable. Infinite Hyperdeath is a great act, probably my favorite in the game so far. It gave me my first skill check against the boss V2, our successor. My first time through, it beat my ass constantly. Not only does it fight as aggressively as we do, but keeping distance will enrage it. It's a memorable fight, and one that made everything really click for me. By the time you beat the first act, you'll feel unkillable, a weaver of chaos. And the ending foreshadows that the game is going to get amped up further. Act 2, Imperfect Hatred, was worth the wait. It has several segments that are pure gauntlets, something out of the cyber grind, as if the assumption is made that the game's mechanics would have been mastered by then. Greed is the starting layer, and it will invoke memories of Serious Sam with its Egyptian theme. Gold dust takes the place of sand, causing those that touch it to bathe in flame from the heat of the layer's sun, according to lore. The first level swiftly introduces Virtue, a lesser angel, that will become a priority target going forward. They prime an attack that encircles us, shooting down a beam of light Hammer of Dawn style. Amid combat, when focused on others, they can easily end a run. Nothing that a rail cannon or punch shells can't resolve. In fact, in arenas where Ultrakill can get its most chaotic, you'll often find a dual wheel power-up that allows for double the devastation for 30 seconds. Unfortunately, from what I've read, it doesn't boost both shotguns from a punch. That sucks. But I love that V1 gets a third arm, and particularly love using 2 overheated nail guns. When I reflect on Greed, my mind always goes to the final area of the third level, Shot in the Dark, an example of the game expecting you to have mastered its mechanics. This fight is a fight, with repeat death to make skills click. For me, it may be Ultrakill's most memorable arena. By the layer's end, you will come in possession of an item that single-handedly made me want to restart the game from its utility. It's a grappling hook. All those moments you've flown from an explosion without intending to, or unable to cover the ground to preserve style before it deranks. The problems are gone. This thing makes it so aggression can be maintained. Low on health, why not bring the blood to you? It's a game changer. The layer that follows is Wrath, a layer defined by water. It starts in a cavern that soon sees us submerged. As we make our way into the next area, we are confronted with a tempestuous ocean. This is the River Styx, now flooded after mankind's death. It even features a boss fight against the ferryman, the conveyor of souls, on an ocean liner. I love the implications. Within, areas are confined, conducive to some satisfying chaos, point-blank fighting. They aren't heavily featured, but Act 2 makes the debut of Idols, blessing enemies with invulnerability until shattered, along with sentries. They don't pose much of a threat in themselves, but of course they're thrown in when surrounded, so if not prioritized, half of your health can be lost. I like the dynamics these two give to fights, especially the Idol, and hope to see more of it in Act 3. I can't forget our new weapon, the rocket launcher. Sincerely, it saw rare use in my first playthrough, since I was used to a combo of punch shotgun into charged pistol topped off by rail cannon. My explosive needs were met, and it felt underpowered, with missed shots causing enemies to bounce as if from a ground slam. While watching clips with it online showed I was using it wrong, that this is Ultrakill, that things have more depth than at first glance. Your secondary puts rockets in stasis. I thought, okay, that's cool, but how does it benefit combat? Prepare several rockets at once to launch them in unison, or if partial to skip gaps or find secrets, why not ride a rocket? I struggle to replicate them, but I have seen amazing use of rocket riding in the cyber grind. Truly, it's something I need to spend more time with. When hell becomes hell as I envision it is in the final layer of Act 2, Heresy. We don't see much of it unfortunately, as it spans 2 levels, and one is dedicated to a boss, but it takes place in an infernal cathedral, marked by a red ambience. Heresy is the layer I would have liked to see more levels in, especially with fun had in fighting across pillars, or against 2 hideous masses. Watching the final sequence of Imperfect Hatred, I'm left with curiosity as to the direction Goth's Suicide Act 3 will take. In terms of theming, I have an idea, but the story and gameplay keeps evolving with each act. All I know is expectation is something this game always comes to surpass, that what's in store can only be the perfect culmination. Ultrakill is such a great game, but the depth few FPS's approach. It's an exhilarating ride that again feels like the furthest the genre can go. This was true of Act 1, but now with the grappling hook and rocket launcher, it's baffling that there is still territory to be explored. The creativity from developer Hakita seems limitless, not only for gameplay. The underlying story and rendition of Hell endows the world with added color. It makes for a location that has become a staple of old school FPS feel fresh. This experience is singular. For those who have yet to pick the game up, do yourself the favor. With the launch of Act 2, it's a perfect time to start. I wasn't joking. Ultrakill is something else. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you have any thoughts, please leave a comment, or if you found potential in me and what I can produce, please subscribe. Once more, thank you all, and have a good one.